Hey guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be going over the new melee weapon, the Quassus Prime. Now in this weapon series, I take a weapon, I build it out, and I test that weapon on its own merits. Meaning I don't mix it with any kind of external factors that would increase weapon performance. That would be things like Warframes using abilities, pets putting statuses on enemies, things like that. I just test the weapon built out by itself, and I let the viewers make their own intelligent conclusions about adding those external things. Now the only difference is when I do a melee video, which is going to be today, I do use one external, and that is a pet to prime for me. And the reason I use that one external for my melee videos is because almost every melee weapon in the game, minus a couple of different types, are going to use a mod called Condition Overload. And to show a melee weapon off without Condition Overload actually working would be a little bit disingenuous. So that's why I add that one external to my melee videos. Alrighty. So the Quassus Prime came out about 2 days ago with the introduction of Zaku Prime, and that's why we're doing it today. A little bit of an interesting thing is that the word Quassus is apparently banned, or you're not able to type it in the game. It comes up as a profanity. So on my little in-game computer here, I've named it Profanity Prime. I'm really glad DE did that. Warframe is a game about ripping people apart, desecrating their bodies, burning them to death, and even attacking and ripping apart animals. So I'm really happy that they have went ahead and they have censored the word Quassus to protect my virgin ears. So really happy about that. All right, we have the top commenter and the first commenter of the last video. It's Gregory Stevens, 9104. And we have the recent supporters of Johnny, Eddie, and Lovio. Thank you so much for your support. Okie dokie, let's get into the Quassus here. The Quassus is a Warfan melee weapon. It's kind of cool looking. It's not really my cup of tea as far as its aesthetics go, but aesthetics are subjective. Maybe you like them. All right. Before we go over the mods, I want to go over the interesting and exciting things about the Quassus. So let me get my little notebook here that I have everything on. All right. Heavy attacks throw a horizontal spread of daggers with a 2.5 times damage multiplier. Now, on the wiki, it says 12 daggers is what it throws out. On a few forums, including on the wiki itself also, people are arguing that, and they're saying it's 18 instead of 12 that it throws out. I couldn't tell the difference myself. Maybe I just don't have like a good energy color to tell how many daggers it is, but yeah, it's somewhere between 12 or 18. So, and then the next part of this is that the second heavy attack in a sequence throws 6 daggers with a 5 times multiplier. All right, and this is important because the word sequence is important, and it's because of the introduction of Tennokai means that we're able to heavy attack for free without spending our combo count. And so we don't have to do like specific heavy attack builds for weapons anymore. However, weapons that have a sequence of heavy attacks like this do open those weapons up. So the Quassus is opened up to 2 different builds. It's opened up to a regular melee build, which still heavy attacks quite often with Disciple's Merit, or it's opened up to a heavy spam build, which is built differently than what I have here. I personally do not like heavy spam builds, just because to play them appropriately, you have to spend a lot of your mod slots on other mods that like make them function, like heavy attack efficiency, for instance, or initial combo or something like that. And so you're spending mod slots just to get this build to function correctly. And those mod slots that you're spending could have been things like crit damage or more crit damage or crit chance or attack speed, things like that. And so I'm not a huge fan of heavy spam builds. It's a viable way to build the Quassus out, but it's not the way I'm going to build the Quassus out. We're still going to be heavy attacking extremely often with Disciple's Merit. We're just not going to be heavy attacking as often as a specific heavy spam build would do. All right, let's continue on with the Quassus here. Daggers have guaranteed slash procs and a 2-meter punch through. And daggers drop over time, and so we'll need to arc up in the air if you want to throw them like further on. They kind of drop like pretty aggressively too. Like they don't go very far without you having to like arc them up a bit. All right, and there's another like little unique trait here that if you're using Zaku, the daggers are a bit more accurate. That's kind of cool. Okay, so that's the interesting and exciting things about Quassus. I do want to point out before we go into the mods, two important stats on the Quassus, and that's attack speed and range. And this is a bit unfortunate. So the Quassus starts with a below average attack speed, and it starts with a well below average range. So it's kind of already starting behind other melee weapons, which kind of sucks. So starting with a below average attack speed means that Gladiator Vice is not even a consideration. We have to use Berserker Fury. And starting with a below average range, well below average range at 1.7, means that we really are going to be needing to use Primed Reach. Now, the reason I don't have Primed Reach here is because it can go on 2 slots. It can either go over Organ Shatter or go over Weeping Wounds. And it's kind of up to personal preference which one you want to put it over. I'm going to explain the build without Primed Reach first, and then at the very end, we'll kind of decide where we want this to go over. Okay, so that's like the two unfortunate things there. So it's kind of starting from behind already, unfortunately. Okay, so first mod we're going to be using is Voltaic Strike. Voltaic Strike is the 60/60 electric mod. I'm going to skip ahead to the Arcane. It's going to explain why we're using Voltaic Strike. We're going to be using Melee Influence as an Arcane. On a melee electricity status, 20% chance for elemental melee status effects to apply to enemies within 20 meters for 18 seconds. Melee Influence is incredibly powerful. It is very hard for any other Arcane to even come close to beating Melee Influence unless you have like a very niche situations. So that's why we're using Melee Influence with Voltaic Strike. Next mod is Galvanized Steel for 110% critical chance and 120% critical damage. Organ Shatter is 90% critical damage. Gladiator Might is 60% critical damage and 120% critical chance. Condition Overload is melee flat damage. And with a primer pet, with my Dirija primer pet, he produces 6 to 8 statuses all the time. And so, you know, you could just do the math there. 6 to 8 times 80 is a lot of flat damage. So, and that's with a Dirija primer. That's like a brain dead Dirija that's just doing it for me. If you want to go ahead and also have like a secondary primer to be priming along with your Dirija, this can go even higher. Okay, Berserker Fury is going to be giving us 70% attack speed. And then we finally have our two mods that are stacks with combo multiplier mods. So we have Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds. Blood Rush is going to be 440% critical chance. I can never remember if it's 440 or 480 altogether. I think it's either 440 or 480. But 440 or 480% critical chance. And Weeping Wounds is the same. It's 440 or 480 status chance. When it's fully stacked, which we're going to be fully stacked with this build. So, okay, now in the stance slot, there's 2 stances. There's Votive Onslaught, and then there's Slicing Feathers. I'm going to go over the stances as well after the mods. So you'll be able to kind of see all the movements. I like Votive Onslaught the best. Slicing Feathers has like 1 attack in it that is a possible use, but Votive Onslaught has like 2 different attacks that are possible uses, and I just like it a bit better. Disciples Merit is going to be our Tennokai mod that we use. This is going to be letting us do a free heavy attack every 4 melee hits. And we already went over the Arcane. So that's how you build up the Quassus Prime. Now, we do need to put on Primed Reach, because Primed Reach is important. Running around with a 1.7 range is absolute garbage. So, I mean, if you had a Riven with range, then obviously you don't need Primed Reach. You just want it to be closer to that like 2.5 or 3 meter range. Now, with Primed Reach, we're going to go, way above that. We're going to be at like 4.5. 4.7, actually, exactly. But so, okay, what does Organ Shatter give us? This is pretty simple. If we just take off Organ Shatter, we're at 6.2 now, and we take off Organ Shatter, we're at 4. So this gives us 2.2. Gives us 2.2 crit multiplier. It's kind of nice. Very, powerful. It's a powerful thing. What does Weeping Wounds give us? Weeping Wounds gives us a little bit over 400%. Again, I can't remember if it's 440 or 480. If it's 480, then it's closer to 500. But let's just say 400. Let's just be conservative here and just say 400. So this gives us 400% status chance. The base status chance of this weapon is about 20%. So that's going to give us 80% status chance with, considering only 400. So this is going to give us over a 100% status chance, a little bit over 100% status chance. And so this is going to make it where every single hit is either an electric or a slash. Most likely a slash, but could still be an electric too. And a very, very small chance for a puncture or an impact. So Whipping Wounds basically guarantees you a damaging status effect on every hit. Sometimes, if you're lucky, maybe 2 of them. And so, I know a lot of people, they go kind of like crazy with like, oh, the stance has to have 4 slashes. But what's more important is if you can actually just produce a slash on every single hit instead of like the, 3rd attack in a chain of 8 attacks. So that's what Weeping Wounds gets you. It gets you like almost a forced slash every hit. Again, it can be an electricity too, though, so not always a slash. But so Weeping Wounds is very powerful too. I feel like out of the 2 of them, Organ Shatter probably is the weaker one. I kind of just want that forced slash every hit or forced electric every hit. So I really don't want to put it here. I'm really more inclined to put it over Organ Shatter and just lose a little bit on that crit damage. We're still getting a lot of crit damage because of Galvanized Steel. When this is stacked up, it's going to give us crit damage, which doesn't even get factored in right now. So, yeah, I think Organ Shatter is the better place to put Prime Breach, but you could maybe consider it putting it over Weeping Wounds also. All right, and this is the build that I'm going to go with here, with Prime Breach over the Organ Shatter slot. And so now we're going to go in the Simulacrum, and we're going to show off the stances, and I'm going to explain which ones have 4 slashes. If you understand the stances already, you can always go ahead and skip this part. I'm gonna have timestamps. Oh, thanks so much, Cephalon Samaris. You're so nice. That guy is so nice. I think he only says that to me. Probably not to anyone else. Unread mail. Oh, it's probably Barakatir. He's probably here today. He's probably got some garbage. I don't know. After this video, I'll go check. All right, so I have Votive Onslaught on right now. And I'm going to stand over here, and I'm going to get my little handy-dandy notebook that I have everything written down on. Okay, Votive Onslaught. So we're going to start with the forward light attack. The forward light attack is low DPS and no forced slash. So this is a little bit of a dookie one. That's what it looks like. I mean, I like the animation. It's got good animations. It's just that it's low DPS compared to the others, and there's no force slash in it. Alrighty. Now we're going to go over the neutral light, which is not moving forward and holding E. This one is the highest DPS out of both stances, and it has 1 force slash. Not a gigantic fan of this one. There's not a lot of movement in it compared to the others, and some of the attacks are only like hitting forward, which I don't really like. It does have a force slash, but like, is that gonna be enough to make me actually want to do this the entire game? Probably not. Alrighty. Now we have the forward block, which is holding block, moving forward, and holding E. This is actually going to have high DPS, but no forced slashes, which is okay, because again, our normal attacks produce a status every hit. Not always, not all the time is it going to be a slash. Sometimes it's going to be electric, but a lot of times it'll be a slash. So, okay. Holding block, moving forward, holding E. I like this one. It swirls around. It hits a lot of enemies around you. There's decent movement in it. I kind of like this one. This is probably what I'll be using in the gameplay. Again, there's no force slash in this. That's a little bit unfortunate, but our hits are producing an element every time we touch something, so. Okay, and then finally we have the neutral block, so holding block, not moving forward, and holding E. This is low DPS and no force slash. And there's like no movement to this, so pretty garbage. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and put the other stance on here. Just because you should make your own decision on what you want to do. You should feel, I don't know why I'm going into my Gnarls here. I don't know why I have the strain mod on either. I shouldn't have that strain mod on. Let me take that off. Okay, so I'm going to take off Votive Onslaught. And I'm going to be putting on the other stance of Slicing Feathers. Now, just because I like Votive Onslaught doesn't mean that you need to use it. You should check all these combos out and pick a combo that feels comfortable for you to play with. Don't just be like, oh, I have to use the one that has a force slash, because that's a really dumb way of picking it. So, Slicing Feathers. The forward light is what we'll do first. This is low DPS with no force slash. So, both of them had kind of bad forward lights. I also don't really like this forward light, where at least the other one I kind of liked it. All right. Now we have the neutral light, which is not moving forward and holding E. This is low DPS, but a forced slash. I really don't like this one. I don't want to be doing cartwheels. You know, if you're really like OCD about needing a forced slash, you just be doing this the whole time, which is really kind of dumb. All right. Then we have the forward block. This one actually has 2 forced slashes, but it has low DPS. So low DPS, but 2 forced slashes. So you would be like expecting that you would probably make up in that DPS because of the slashes, basically. So, okay, forward block, blocking, moving forward, and holding E. This is okay. So if you picked Slicing Feathers, this is likely what you're going to be choosing to spam. It's a decent attack. It's got low DPS compared to the others, but it does have 2 forced slashes, so they could make up on that DPS for you. All right, enough of that. Let's go over the neutral block, which is holding block, not moving forward, and holding E. This is the lowest DPS out of all of the combos that we've went over. And there's no force slash. So you would definitely not use this one. What is this? Yeah, I guess he throws the fan forward. That's cute. It's a cute attack, but it's pretty dookie. All right, so let's go back to our votive onslaught. But that's the showcase of the stance there. I am going to be using votive onslaught, and in my gameplay, I think I'm going to be using the forward block, which is high DPS, but no force slash, which is this one here. I just like that it hits everything around me. So I'll probably be doing this one. All right, let's go back to the orbiter. I'm going to put my little notebook away. And then I think we should be able to get into the gameplay next, and we'll show off the Quassus and how it works. Okay, so I'm going to be doing this on an Inaros with no mods that increase weapon performance with a pet. The pet is going to be a melee primer, so that is going to be like one external I'm using. So we'll do Mott, Steel Path with the Quassus. We got our primed reach on over the Organ Shatter slot.
Each enemy is more powerful than before.
And before we start, just to show the heavy attack,
Mastery of the arsenal, will you succeed?
There we go. He throws out some daggers. And if you do that in quick succession, like if you do the heavy attack twice in a row, the second one will be less daggers, but it'll be a higher multiplier, higher damage multiplier. So first one is 2.5, and this one is 5 times. Alrighty. But we're not going to be using that second sequence because we're using Tennokai.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
You see, I'm still like heavy attacking like pretty much like every three seconds when I'm whacking dudes. You know, there's one, there's another, there's another. So it's a little bit less heavy attacks than a heavy spam build, but it's still very often you're heavy attacking. And I did exactly what I said I wasn't going to do and was using the light attack. I should be using the other one I said. With more DPS. I was using the low DPS one. Although melees are so friggin' powerful. Even using a low DPS one, you're gonna do a crap load of damage. Especially with melee influence. Melee influence gives you so much friggin' damage. We have a bad tile set for a melee video, unfortunately, here. We have a 2-story tile set. Melee influence helps with that because it'll still like damage things underneath me, but it's still not like the best. Maybe I can try to go into a better tile set here. This is a good tile set right here. We can get the enemies to actually like move into here. You know, they don't really want to move in here very quickly, so I might have to play in this tile set. Now, I also, when I do my videos, I always do research like on forums to see if there's like any weird interactions that other people have found. And a lot of people were saying that using this with mag and throwing those daggers into mag bubble are pretty good because, you know, you figure those are force slashes and you're getting the damage multiplier on the heavy attack. So like that could be a really good combo there. So maybe for like a mag specific Quassus, you might want to do like a heavy spam build, but otherwise I really just like the general melee builds. I mean, look at this thing. It's friggin' powerful. I don't want to sit in one place and just, you know, press the middle click over and over. We'll see how it performs in kills after 10 minutes. So a lot of the melee weapons in the game hit around 1,000, and some of the really good melee weapons are about 1,100 to 1,200. We've encountered some stinkers, though, for melee weapons that have been, like, in the 6, 7, and 800s. So, like, hopefully it doesn't hit that level. I do have kind of a crappy tile set, though, with this 2-floor one, so we have to maybe consider that. I'm going to put some status immunity on. I don't know why I got knocked over there. I don't know, sometimes the daggers, they feel like they drop very aggressively, and then sometimes they feel like there's no drop to them. Really friggin' weird. That's why sometimes I completely, like, misthrow the daggers.
When you need it, extraction is ready.
Oof, I just wasted my heavy right there. I heavy attacked out of Tennokai, which is unfortunate. So I got to get my combo back up. So I've gone down to yellow crits now instead of reds. It only takes a few seconds to get back up, but I make that mistake sometimes. I have the old man reflexes where I take too long to press the Tennokai button. You know, there actually is a Tennokai mod, like, kind of for that. It's the old man Tennokai mod. I forgot what it's called exactly. I think it's Opportunity. I think it's like Tennokai Opportunity or Opportunity something. It gives you a whole 4 seconds to press your Tennokai. I call that one my old man mod, because sometimes I just use that Tennokai mod for my crappy reflexes. Not because it's actually the best one, just because it's good for people that have bad reflexes. Threw my daggers at like nothing right there. I just turned around and just kind of threw them into the wall. Opportunities Reach, that's what it's called. Opportunities Reach. I'm like sitting here trying to think about what I just did it again. Yeah, wasted it. Wasted the heavy attack. Okay. You know, it's not the optimal Tennokai mod, but if you're an older dude with bad reflexes, consider using Opportunities Reach. Because it'll give you a whole 4 seconds to press that button. And not do what I do and miss your heavy attack.
Behold the Tenno, come to scavenge and desecrate this sacred realm.
It's really quick, though, to get back up to 12 times. It's not really that bad. I'm not even using anything that that increases, like, combo count. The only thing I use is Naramon, which is just slows down the decay of losing stacks. That's about it. It doesn't increase the gain of them.
It is time. I will teach these trespassers the redemptive power of my Yanis.
Oof, I just wasted him again. Third time. It's not the worst I've done in a melee video. I think I've done it like 4 or 5 times sometimes.
They are being led by a false prophet, an impostor who knows not the secrets of the void. Impressive. You must die.
We got 1 minute left, and then we'll see what the skill count's at. We're hoping it's at least over 1,000 to at least be like in line with the other good melee weapons. I mean, for reference, the Ghoul Saw got like 1,100. So we're hoping this beats the Ghoul Saw. It's not always the case with new weapons, though. Not every new weapon that comes out is good, which I guess is a good thing. It means that there's like no power creep, although there kind of is. Like Kumai, when she came out, her primary weapon is pretty dookie as far as the actual damage goes. It's got some like utility potential, but like the actual damage of it is pretty dookie. All right, got 10 seconds. Let's get some more kills here. All right, is that it? No, we got 1 second. Okay, that's it.
The more successful.
Alrighty, let's find extraction right there. Okay, let's see. Okay, 1,265. That's actually really, really good. Damn, that's actually really damn good. 1,265. It's better than some of the weapons that I thought were really good. And I thought this one was starting from behind. I thought this one, I mean, it is starting from behind with its attack speed and its range. We made up for its range by putting reach on. Yeah, I mean, it did pretty damn friggin' good. 1,265. So that would put it in line with the really good melee weapons in the game.
As you conquer the foe.
I also screwed up a lot of times there with my Tennokai, where I did it after the Tennokai dropped, and so I lost my combo count. And it still scored really, really good. That is actually quite surprising. I thought the Quassus might have been either below average or like just like at that average mark of like 1,000 kills. So that actually surprised me. That surprised me on the Quassus there. So, I mean, that's just one run. You know, maybe I got lucky and I did a little bit better than I normally would. But I would also consider the tile set I was farming on a 2-floor tile set for a melee video a little bit, you know, not the best. It's not the best to have 2 floors and you're using a melee weapon. The melee influence makes up for it a little bit because it's just kind of hitting everything in a range. But, I mean, the bulk of your damage is still, you know, right in front of you with your melee weapon. So, yeah, pretty interesting. The Quassus performed really, really well. So yeah, that's Quassus Prime, or Profanity Prime as I like to call it. If you guys like the video, consider giving it a like. If you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing, or tell me what I can do to earn your sub. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. All right.